Hi, everybody, and thank you for being here for another episode of FaB. And I'm joined by my co-host, the great Matthew Street. How you doing,
Oh,
Matt?
she's great. I don't know how great, but hey,
Great
Joe, so
YouTuber.
great and happy to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. It's always good to see you here. And Matthew has a YouTube channel called Matthew Street, and please check that out if you haven't already. And you're not a subscriber, please do. Our special guest today is my friend Tim Allen. Hello, Tim.
Hello, Joe. Hello, Matt.
Hey,
Yes,
Tim, great to have you.
And Tim also has a YouTube channel. Feature vinyl and music, and he has a podcast, the Snap, Crackle, and Pop Vinyl Hour. So make sure you check that out. Where could you get that, Tim?
It's on Podomatic.com, but it's also on iTunes. It may be on another platform or two.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. And hopefully we'll have some fun today. Yeah, so a lot of you out there probably have noticed, unless you're living on Mars or something, that there's going to be a Let It Be deluxe album coming out. And it shouldn't surprise anybody that there are different variations. We've got, of course, the album box. We vinyl. We got the CD box, and then they put all kinds of variations out there that they're doing. One of them, if you get it from Walmart, the album has 4 pictures or prints in there, and then you got a tote bag that's included with one from Barnes and Noble if you buy a Barnes and Noble copy, and then you have the other one, which is a T-shirt, right, from Target.
Target has the T-shirt, but
Target T-shirt.
were you? Did you ever find out? Is that really just one size fits all?
I heard that it was just the large size, and that's it.
Yeah.
Unless they,
Abbey
they
Road was just one size. And a bunch of years ago, when they put out 445s that came with T-shirts, they were all one size as well.
Oh, really?
yeah. Well,
Well,
don't give.
what about us guys who don't want to go out there and scare the public with these skin tight T-shirts and
Yeah.
showing our man boobs and stuff? We don't want to be doing that.
Well, put it this way. Either way, if I was inclined to buy it, which I'm not, by the way, that's a subject I'll get into. People talk about owning everything that's out, every variation.
Right.
If there was ever such a thing and I was so inclined, I would collect it, not even necessarily to wear it if it didn't fit. It would be like, even if it was a small or a quadruple X size, I would buy as a piece to the collection. Like this is what came with it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I think a lot of us did that with the McCartney 3 stuff with the mask and the T-shirts. We're not going to wear them. It's just
yeah. I got a McCartney 3 face mask, and I have not worn it. I'm not going to wear it. It's just part of the collector's thing.
Right.
So I see we got some people, of course, joining us here, as they usually do. And, if you want to weigh in on this, ask a question, give your opinions on any of this, I'll try to see how many people I can address as we talk about all this. All right. So, let's get right into it. And let's talk about the Let It Be.
Now, before I do that, if you don't mind, if you'll indulge me for 2 seconds, I have an intro for this.
Sure.
All right. As the great and powerful Yogurt said from Spaceballs, the movie, merchandising. We got Spaceballs, the T-shirt, Spaceballs, the coloring book, Spaceballs, the lunchbox, Spaceballs, the breakfast cereal, and my favorite, Spaceballs, the flamethrower.
I seen the movie.
I'm sorry. That's one of my favorite movies,
That's
folks.
Mel Brooks.
Whenever I think of merchandising, Joe and Tim, I think of Spaceballs, the movie.
Yeah. And that's going to lead us to that question about all that stuff. It's nothing new. But I guess for Let It Be, I mean, I'll start with myself so I get it over with and I can concentrate on what you guys are saying. But I mean, this is what I'm getting. I'm getting the box set of CDs, deluxe. I'm getting the box set of vinyl. And then as far as those other 3 things we mentioned, the stores, all I want and all I'm going to get is going to be the Walmart one with the 3 photos in it. I'm going to pass 2 of them up. Now, I've already got comments on my channel. It's natural. People say, oh, you always say that. You always wind up getting all of it. Watch out being literal. I don't literally get all of anything in my case. I want to make that clear, but people get off on it. They have fun saying, "Oh, Joe, you buy everything." No, I don't buy everything. Nothing that's ever come out if I bought every little thing, as the song goes.
And I can attest for that as Joe's friend who has talked to him extensively in private. I can guarantee, folks, I've met him, I've been with him. He doesn't have everything.
Oh, it may seem like everything, even those boxes up there on the corner here, the dice of McCartney 3 package. Some of those color variations and things. I don't have everything. There's tons of more of them that I didn't get. But anyway, enough of that. Well, look, Matt, what are you looking at possibly for getting on Let It Be?
Yeah, it's a little, like I said in my video, it's a financial thing for me. It's not I'm against these little merchandising gimmicks or marketing tools. I'm not against it at all, and we can talk more about that. So with my financial situation, I've just come to the point in my life that I've had to really make hard decisions. And as I said in my video, I went nuts when the White Album came out. I was going paycheck to paycheck. How am I going to, I really want this. I got to have that. I have to have this little piece that they're putting out, the special jacket, the special this. And I just realized this time, no, you got to back it down. You got to be sensible. You got to think with your wallet, not with your heart. And so I'm getting the print set from Walmart, as you are. I've already ordered it from a company. And that will be my one vinyl remix of the Let It Be album. And then I kind of flipped a coin. I wasn't sure if I was going to get the 5 CD deluxe set or the LP one. But in the end, I went with the LP set, only because to have, that Glyn Johns one with that special cover, them at that same location as the Please Please Me album. And I want a full 12-inch image of that. I want to have all those pieces on full 12-inch. So those are the 2 items I decided to order, and I did order. And I promise, folks, I'm 99% sure I'm going to stick with those 2 items. The Walmart special with the art prints and the 5 LP set.
Well, there was a thing where for a joke like that McCartney 3 Imagined one with the guest artists, new artists.
Right.
I only wanted 1 copy of that, and I only got 1 copy. I just got splatter vinyl. I didn't even get the CD. Don't even want the CD.
Right.
Not even going to play the CD. Don't have it. And then my girlfriend says, "Well, I have a surprise for you. I ordered you a pink vinyl version of the McCartney 3 Imagined." I'm
nice
like,
of her,
no, I don't want it. But then I told, but I appreciate the thought. It's still here. Anybody, maybe I'll sell it or something, or trade it or something. So, but I don't need everything, and that I don't want it. But so Tim, how about yourself? Do you have any idea which way you're going to go with that?
If I was gonna skip it, to be honest, just
wow.
because I've been overwhelmed with the amount of Beatle product coming out, and we'll get to that, I'm sure. But I'll probably wind up with just the 2 CD version, and if I can swing it, and I'm like you, Matt. If I can swing it, I would love to do the vinyl box.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, that's not in the cards.
Well, look, a money factor is a big thing. That's the next thing I wanted to talk about. None of us here are rich people.
No,
I speak for you guys because we know,
right.
And a lot of people think sometimes, in the comments, somebody said, there's nothing wrong, Joe, with admitting that you're wealthy. Somebody said to me, I said, I'm not. Well, it's such a joke, but I laugh at that. I wish I was. But the thing is, I say this only half bragging. The fact that I just live. I've always done this. I believe we're here to have a good time. I don't have any children. So if I had children, it'd be a different story. I have nothing but respect for people that have to take care of their kids first. That's always first. But I don't have any, and it's like I just kind of live paycheck to paycheck, and everything. I've always had a roof over my head. I've always had enough to eat. Up to this point, everything's good with that. If it got to a point where, either you're gonna have dinner and pay the rent this month, or you're going to have records or extra merchandise, of course I'll take the necessity in life of it. But it's never come to that, but it's been close sometimes because I just have a good time, and it's like, maybe I'll say 1 bill here or there. Maybe you gotta that has to wait another month, maybe, or something. But it always worked out for me so far. So that's what I do. I just want to have fun now. So
Well, that's the key. If you have the money and the desire to get something, then by all means, I'm 100% behind that. You should have the ability to get what makes you happy and enjoy it. And it's funny you mentioned about the kids thing. I can attest to that. Having two kids of my own, I definitely am able to do a little more now than I could do 15, 20 years ago when they were little kids. I mean, we had bills to pay with them, and you had doctor's appointments and buying new sneakers and shoes and clothes and getting backpacks ready for school. You know the drill. I mean, when you have children, your whole life is different. It's a whole different thing, and budgeting your money and you know, thank goodness my wife she's a hard worker. I worked, and even with our two paychecks, it was tough sometimes week to week. My wife, she's the main money person in the family. She's the arithmetic numbers person. And she said, and we talked about it while we were going through it, is that, wow, I don't know how we're going to pay that bill this week. We're going to have to hold off for another week till this check comes in. So you're right, Joe. It's a whole different world when you have kids and you have more stuff going on like that. And as I've moved away from that into my older years, so to speak, and my kids have moved on, they're adults now, it's a little easier to enjoy yourself. And if you can, God bless you, you should be able to.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know, everybody's got a different personal thing, personal story, Now, I'm not saying anybody here, the three of us or anything, but I suspect there's some people out there that would love to have the stuff, but he can't afford it, unfortunately. So, which is fine. But the thing is, I think some people get envious of it or jealous. Certain people, you can tell, and the ones that in the comments kind of snippy about it and stuff. It's like, well, if I can't have it, oh, I don't need this, and that kind of thing. I'm sure many people are genuine about it, but I think some people,
I've never understood that. To me, you should be like, how many of my friends here in the community, yourself included, were able to get the George Harrison All Things Must Pass Uber box crate or whatever you want to call it? I'm happy for those people.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool. And I watched several videos, yours included, Tom and Andy's, and a few others, because I was just mesmerized by it. Like, yeah, I want to see this. I want to live vicariously through them. I can't get it. I will not be getting it. But to be upset at you for it, to put you down for that and say and be jealous of it, no, that to me, that person in my mind has some issues they need to deal with. They should be happy for you if you're getting something you truly love and enjoy, and you have the means to do it. And as you said, it's not hurting your personal life where you can't put food on the table. Then by all means, enjoy it. I'm happy for those people.
Yeah, because I wonder sometimes about that. Like, it's a happy medium is the best thing. I mean, I've never been what you might call, I don't know, a mattress stuffer. I think they call it, that you just, if you got your money, just sock all the cash and don't really enjoy the now. But by the same token, you can't be living on what is it in my video, cat food or SpaghettiOs or whatever either.
Sardines and stale crackers.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now, let's talk. I'll start with Tim about this. Okay, Tim. I've been thinking. I think we all agree. What's happening now, especially recent Beatle swag and merchandising, is that it's probably too much all at the same time.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's my biggest issue with it. I've counted since last October, so a year by the time Let It Be comes out, there have been 9 official Beatle related releases in a year. 9. And many of them had variations, over half. And that's ridiculous. I mean,
yeah, it's a lot.
I think they're worried that we're not going to have them that long, so they're trying to do everything they can before they're gone. But 9. I mean, that's twice as many as when Beatlemania was at its height in '64.
Yeah, right.
It's funny you mentioned formats and variations. That's 9 things, but it's not just 9 things. It's all the ancillary, additions of it and the deluxe sets and boxes. So it's not like it's a cheap $25 items time.
No, and prices have been going up. That's my other issue. For a while, they were affordable, and like the Imagine box retailed for like $80 or something like that. And then all of a sudden you get to the Give Me Some Truth, just 2 vinyl set retailed for $80. Now I
Wow.
know a lot of people got it for cheaper, but the retail on that was $80 for a 2 record set.
Yeah.
It's
The
cheap.
prices are really, really high. And that, we could also talk about the cash grab thing. People use that term all the time. It drives me nuts not because I don't agree with it to a point, like when they say, "Oh, this is a cash grab." It's not that I think it isn't. I think that's always been business. They've been trying to get our cash from the beginning of time, right, Matt?
Absolutely. Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
you can go back to even the 1940s, and I did a little research before this, not a ton, but yeah, if you go back to the 40s and 50s, and certainly coming into the 60s, I mean, promotional items, posters, counter displays, specialty products, all that stuff was out there to try to push product, push the music, push album sales or whatever, and later 8-track and cassette. But it's been going on for a long time. I mean, you could go back to the late 60s, even coming into the early 70s, and musical artists were doing promotional contests to move their albums or singles. Like, if you enter this contest, you'll win a special this. If you buy the album, there's a special entry form inside. You fill it out, mail it in, and you can be entered to win the special item. That stuff's been going on over 50 years.
Yeah, and they're in the business to make money, and everybody's in here saying hello. Sorry, we can't. Each one of you, hello to everybody that's in there. You're in the business to make money, and the most money that they can. Maybe they had a little more scruples in the earlier days. I dare say I don't know, but somebody here on the comments, if I can find it, said, here it goes. It was Woodland Goblin right there. Hold on a minute, I'll get it. This one here. They try to milk us. Of course, we know that. I do think the reason they put two reasons. Let's face it. They know that there are going to be a lot of diehards out there that are going to buy more than one copy, and some people are going to buy every single copy. They can't help themselves. And maybe maybe they're looking for that. Probably looking for that.
The records, record sales have been physical copies, I should say, not just records, but physical copies have really gone down since the advent of streaming and all those even the old days of the illegal streaming services and that. So the whole music landscape is shifting. It's harder for these companies and artists to monetize, to get tangible money in their pockets. And so merchandising, marketing, the gimmicks, the color vinyl and exclusive items, that's what's helping them move their music and make money.
And as the person here says, we can always not buy. That's true. And to reiterate, I certainly don't buy everything. The Paul McCartney colored vinyl that's out, I don't know how many variations there are, at least a dozen, I think.
I think there was like 14 or 16, Tom and Andy.
I wound up getting 9. That's a lot. But I wanted it, There's a whole bunch of reasons for that. And one of the reasons that I did that was I started getting into it. I started thinking, there's something about this one release, McCartney 3, which I wound up liking very much personally when I heard it.
Great album.
And I said to myself, this hasn't happened before to this extreme, where they have this many color variations. Now, maybe it'll be a permanent thing in the future, but now it was new. And I said, hey, for this one time, I'm going to have a good time with it. Like, collect them in a series. Well, I wound up not collecting them all, but I got a lot of them. And I just went with it. I just figured this is going to be one time. Was for this title, look at history. This was the one that everybody went all out with, and have fun with it. And I enjoy myself. I don't know why other people have to rain on the parade, out there in the comments. If it doesn't work for them, but don't get it. Don't get anything. Because
absolutely,
you don't have to buy, as it says here. And I always look at it really as the Baskin Robbins analogy. Hello. Meaning that they put out 31 flavors, right? You don't have to go and eat all 31 flavors or take home, buckets of every 30.
Right.
Same thing here. We have 12 colors for you. Pick one. What's your favorite color? Or what's your favorite variation here? So there's that too.
Yeah. And there's people, I'm sure, that bought one version of McCartney 3, maybe just plain old black vinyl, and Some bought maybe a couple of colors to go with it, or favorites or whatever, and then some bought every variation. But it all goes back to what's wrong with that, whether you just want to get one copy or you want to get 16 copies. If you have the financial means to do so and it makes you happy, you enjoy it, you're a collector. People collect stamps, some people collect coins, people collect dolls, people collect model cars, or what I mean? We all have our thing. And if that's your thing, a particular artist or just music promotional items in general, or albums or records, then you should be allowed to do that and enjoy it and be happy without people begrudging you for that or putting you down for it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Even though I'm against more the quantity of things coming out and the prices that they're charging. But I get that too, because with less and less people buying physical media, the prices are going up. I don't know if most CDs now are list priced at $21.98 for a new CD, which is a lot. And vinyl albums are in the 30s now for the most part. And it's partly because of circumstances, but it's partly because people aren't buying it as much and they're trying to survive.
Right.
But the higher the prices go, the fewer people will buy it. So that may not work out either. But and that's why I don't have a problem with people buying things, because if they don't, this whole industry is just going to go away, and then we won't have the
Right.
option to buy it.
Yeah, it'll
So
crumble. You're right.
you can look at it that way too. You can take the other side and look at it from the business perspective, that they have to do this.
Like Joe was saying earlier, I'm not
People.
sure if Joe said it on live or right before we went live, is that it's a business. It's a money-making business, and they have to survive, just like a restaurant or a retail store. They have to survive, these music companies, and if gimmicks and marketing is the way to go to move product, that's what they're going to do. And you look at, I was going to say, like, even in the like you go back and you can see how it's morphed over the decades. I mean, you go back to the 50s and 60s, and the item known as a concert T-shirt wasn't that big of a thing. You didn't really hear of them much. But as you come into the 70s with arena rock, and bands like Kiss and all those big arena bands, that's when like the 70s concert T-shirt came into fashion. And it was like, where did I read somewhere that I think it might have been AC/DC, that one of their tours, they made more money in merchandising and selling T-shirts and stuff at the concert than what they were getting paid for the actual tour and the concert themselves. They made more money in selling stuff than playing, so
right.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
And this is an interesting comment from Closet Krishna. It says, I think in the vinyl community, I guess whatever community, the community of fans, there can be greed, the got to have everything brigade, multiple copies of the same thing, and a lot of envy and trying to outdo other people's collection at times. I mean, I'm sure that exists, sure.
Yeah. I learned at a very young age that there's, like they always say out there, when you were a little kid and if you got into a fight or something, it's like there's always somebody tougher than you out there. Well, there's always a fan out there who has more than you.
Exactly.
You can think you're top of the heap. I'm the greatest Beatles collector or music collector, any artist. I'm the greatest Beatles collector. I've got everything. I've got every album variation and this edition. I got every. There's always somebody out there with more than you and has a better collection than you. So you might as well just accept that.
Amen.
And get over the fact that you're going to try to outdo everybody.
Well, that's what I just yesterday. Somebody said to me, I was out somewhere and somebody said to me, "Yo, you have such a great collection." I said, "Are you kidding?" I said, I have more than some and less than others. I mean, that's what it is. If you go into any three, I guess, Beatle collectors rooms, you're going to find stuff that you have that they don't. They have stuff that you don't.
Exactly.
And even if you wanted to, you couldn't possibly have everything.
Yeah. Even watching our YouTube family here, the Beatles community, if you want to call it that, I watch tons of Beatle channels and see all kinds of people, including yourself and Tim and others out there, Mr. Beatles Pro and this one and that one. And nobody has exactly the same stuff. Nobody always shows the same things. There's people on all these channels that are showing different items. It's too immense for everybody to have everything and match and be equal in what we have.
Yeah. This one here, though, I think sometimes also have video channels. We all three of us do feel more pressure to buy to show. Now, I know in my case, I'll be honest with you. What as having a channel, what I like to have, if I can, if something's coming out, I like to have it early to show it early
Right.
if I want something,
Mhm.
rather than being late to the party if I can. However, I don't just buy things just to show them because showing them is only a moment's gratification.
Right.
You know, granted, the video will stay for however many years, but um, it's not about that. Because one item that comes to mind that I did not, a couple items I'll mention. One of them is the Travelers. Is it called Travelers
Traveler's
suitcase
edition. Yeah.
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 of
Suitcase.
Egypt Station McCartney? It's a suitcase, $400 with trinkets in there. I personally didn't buy that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like, oh, I got to show it. I got to show it. So I got to
Right.
buy it. Nonsense. In my case, I can't speak for everybody,
No,
but
I don't know. I'd like to hear what Tim says also about this,
yeah.
but I would agree. I have never bought something that I didn't want that I only bought to show. Like, "Oh, I got to get this so I can show it on my channel." Like I say, the only thing I've done that you already mentioned is that I want to get something on release day if I can. Like if something's coming out, like the new, McCartney 3, I'd like to get it on that day. So if I'm going to make a video and show it or reveal it or talk about it or review it, I want to have it as soon as possible so I can do my listening and review it and get it out there. But other than that, I've never bought a Beatles item just for the heck of it, just to buy it.
No, and it's only stuff that I want to have for me, and I'm going to show it. It's also fun to share it with people. And this Partridge Family thing that Robert S is talking is a little joke, and he's only talking about $1. He's bought, I think they were, a couple of dollar albums of Partridge Family
Yeah.
that he bought just to have fun with. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's what I mean. This person I know that just asked these two questions. Like he's somebody I believe that comes in from time to time and asks those kind of, I don't know, dare I say, gotcha kind of questions. Not really, but it's not the case with me anyway.
It's what was like someone said like Kiss, like I mentioned earlier, 2000 products. I mean, they have some wacky stuff. You got Kiss caskets, Kiss condoms, Kiss potato head, Mr.
Oh,
Potato
yeah,
Heads,
yeah.
Kiss wine, Kiss diaper bags. There's like so many products, but I got to tell you, they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation in and
Yeah.
of themselves. They probably make more in those sales than they do in their album sales. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course that's been going on, as you said that before the show, even matter with the Beatles. I mean, the merchandising and all that.
Yeah.
So
I want to go back
Go
to
ahead,
that
Tim.
last question because I
yeah,
want to be totally honest about it. I've never spent a lot of money on something just to show on my channel. I've never bought a Beatle item or anything like that. But I will be honest and say I do thrift store finds, and I have picked up 2 or 3 or 4 maybe over the years albums that I wasn't really nuts about having, but they'd be cool to show on my channel because you do need content. And that's 29, we're talking 29 cents a pop here.
I was going
We're not
to add that.
talking,
Yeah,
we're not talking a lot of money here, but I have
No.
done that. I have brought things into my house mainly to show on my channel, but I haven't spent.
Yeah, for 29 cents,
Yeah,
so up
anything
to a
for
buck or so, why not?
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, I've done that too when it comes to $1 album here or there, a couple of
Yeah.
dollars, something like that. If it's interesting and it'll get some laughs or some
Yeah.
interest,
Exactly.
sure. But that's of
Well,
course.
your famous video when you bought the press to play and ripped it up on the screen.
Oh no,
I mean,
that
did you buy that special?
no. I didn't buy it just to do that. I had it. I'd had it, and it skipped. That copy skipped.
Oh, it was
I
like
found out.
a lousy copy.
One time when I played it, and I only gotten that cheap as well. It wasn't expensive, and it skipped. And I said, I got to get this again. So I wound up getting it over again, and with shrink wrap this time in better shape. So
Right.
when it came time to do the review of the album, I thought it'd be fun to draw on it, then rip it, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know some artists revolt against all this marketing and merchandising stuff. You do get some they try to find different ways to promote their brand or their music, be it maybe through like fanzines or promotional buttons or collectible promo items and that, and they try to stay away from the special limited edition prizes and tote bags and things like that. But it's hard. I think it's hard to do today. If you're an artist that wants to move your product and maintain some sales, I think you almost have to jump on that train, of marketing and merchandising.
It's not always the artist. Everybody blames the artist. But if Target goes to EMI and says, "Hey, we'd like to put out a special edition with a T-shirt," the artist they could probably outright veto it if they're a powerful artist. But
Right.
most of the time, it has nothing to do with them. It just happens. And
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So like with McCartney 3, it's not really his fault that there's like 16 variations of that. All of these companies said, "We want to do one, we want to do one, we want to do one." And it's, how do you say no to one and let the other ones do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, and that's a good point, because does every color variation of the vinyl from the different companies and entities have to get a personal approval? Well, I approve the pink, but not the purple.
Yeah.
But I would think, as you started with, was kind of alluding to, Tim, if somebody wanted to, if an artist was aware of it, if Paul, say, was aware of all these McCartney fees and thought to himself, that's kind of tacky. I don't want that.
Well,
He'd step in and say, "I don't want that many."
McCartney's stature certainly could veto it, but
Yeah,
other artists not necessarily.
But I got to tell you, from what I've seen,
good point.
McCartney's been promoting them himself, a lot of these things. McCartney 3 variations on his Facebook page, and hey, get this, you can get the new ones out, whatever color, blue or whatever it is. He's been doing that a little too. So I don't know.
And he's a big enough, like you and Tim are saying, McCartney's a big enough artist at this point that he can maybe make some of those important decisions. But even the Beatles we talked about a little bit before we came online, I believe. Look at the slew of Beatles merchandise that flooded the market back in '64 when they came to America, and they saw very little of that revenue. My number's not exact, but I think it was like 10% of all that revenue is what they got. They had to split that up with Brian and themselves, and you're talking the wig company and the candy company, Beatle ice cream bars, Beatle gum. Someone mentioned earlier in one of the comments about the Beatles empty cans of Beatle breath that were sold. I mean, they were. Yeah, someone mentioned it, and I had read about that somewhere, so I think they're being accurate. That there was all kinds of these wacky, crazy, like over 150, 200 items that were pushed out there by Cell-Type, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, right. Beatles backwards.
Official Beatles merchandising company, but then there was a lot of unofficial stuff that was merchandised without their knowledge. Which
Beatles bed sheets. All the Beatles bed sheets.
I was just thinking of the Beatles bed sheets.
Yeah, bed sheets. I mean, so like you and Tim are saying, like McCartney maybe now has the power to veto and all that, but even someone like the Beatles back then, a new big artist like that, they had not a lot of control.
Yeah, they didn't have.
Tim's right. The artist always doesn't have say in what's going down.
Yeah. Let's see. How about? I'll just delve into this a little bit. It's inevitable that whenever something comes up announced these days, Beatles related group or solo stuff, you're always going to have complaining. And people joke around and they say, "Let the complaining begin." A lot of people will write that online or something. Okay, let's let the complaining begin. And nevertheless, it'll always be. That's a whole other topic. We're not. That's,
oh God, we could do a whole hour on that.
Yeah, that's not really about merchandising. That's a whole other thing. But why are we not getting this? Why are they giving us that? Why?
And that's been going on since the beginning. I can remember when I was a little kid, and albums like rock and roll music and Hollywood Bowl came out, and people were bitching and moaning about rock and roll music, how the cover is so terrible. Why didn't they include this song or that song? And why wasn't Hollywood Bowl both shows complete? And so there was people complaining going back, and I'm sure you can go further back than that, and people were complaining about everything.
Even then,
I've never seen a Beatles release come out where someone somewhere didn't complain about it or have a gripe with it.
Do you remember this? Two people quoted this. Remember that? There's that footage from '64.
Oh yeah,
the guy saying, "Well, you're gonna cut these. Yeah, it's a square inch. They'll say who slept on what sheet, whether it was John, Paul, or George, or what is it? What are you gonna do?
Square on a card."
And he says, just says it so quick, like
loud and defiant. Sell them, he says, like that. Not just sell them. They want to make money, folks. Come on, man.
Someone down. I just see just a quick comment I see down below. So someone's asking. Jim Vim is saying, "Is the Beatle breath still available for sale?"
I think it's kind of bad by now. If you
Maybe we should
Yeah.
market some fake. We'll put our own breath in cans and sell it, and we'll unofficially make a mint.
I'm sure.
now not only do I know this, Marcus, but I was one of them complaining that we got too little, and a lot of people were. Whenever it was, we had times when Apple or whoever wasn't coming up with stuff. I mean, you got like finally you got like the BBC live at the BBC. Then you got Anthology, but then it's like for a long time there was nothing, and then they finally put the Hollywood Bowl out again. They redid the Hollywood Bowl with some extra tracks, live tracks, in 2016, I think. And then since then, the floodgates have opened. But I'll tell you the truth, there is such a thing as getting spoiled. Too much of a good thing, but I would rather have too much than nothing. Or
absolutely.
Too little.
Yeah, because I think we're all in the same age category, and we remember those lean years of the 70s and coming into the 80s when all they were doing is rehashing stuff like love songs and rock and roll music.
They put out the singles, but in America, they barely came out once you got halfway through. If they even all came out in America, I'm not sure that they did. They did in the UK, but they even charted in the UK. But in America, nothing. We got nothing. But then you were talking about people complaining. In '99, they did the Yellow Submarine songbook, and people hated it. People don't remember this now, but Beatle fans hated it, the purists, because how dare you tamper with the Beatles and remix them?
With the remixes,
what are you doing? Oh my God.
Wow.
And now, 20 years later, it's all people want.
Yeah, everything's being remixed. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Right. And that's a whole other show, right? Talking about the remixes and the quality of the remix. Do you like them? Do you not? You know, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I do like, even though I feel it's too much together. There is a little too much together. It's every month now. You know?
Yeah. Literally, it's every 6 weeks.
Well, like
every
Tim
4
said,
months
90 a year.
Nine in the last.
Yeah, 9 is a bit much. I mean, 3 maybe, 3 or 4. Maybe that's still too much.
That's kind of reasonable.
You know, but because I like the way I'm noticing that it seems that the Beatle entourage is now working together. Like it's not just the Beatles product; it's John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Ringo Starr, and all of them are getting together. And it's like, well, we'll just say John's Plastic Ono Band will put out, say, in March or April, and that'll allow us later to put out George's All Things Must Pass in August, or I think you had Paul's McCartney 3 Imagined in July, and then All Things Must Pass in August. Ringo's new EP will do that in September. And then we'll do October. Will be Let It Be. November.
There's got to be cahoots there. They got to be in cahoots.
So I think they really have it worked out. You know.
Can I ask you guys something? Maybe you can answer this for me. Is this Beatles specialty release with Target, Walmart, and Barnes & Noble with the 3 individual products? Is that the first time the Beatles have done this? We're having specialties with different.
Well, they were
I don't recall it with Abbey Road or the White House.
Oh, you mean those
Target version with a T-shirt for Abbey Road?
There was a version with a T-shirt, but I mean, like where if you wanted all the 3 specialty products, you were going to get 3 of the same album.
I don't remember this many.
I don't either.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying Target had a special edition. I don't know that they did any other sort of.
Yeah. But this has just surprised me that this seems to be the first time the Beatles are going to this thing.
It did special editions. I think Target did it first. I don't know when it was, 2012 maybe. They put out those 4 singles with T-shirts. I think that was the first time a store,
because if you're
in the modern era, had a special release.
If you're one of these purist collectors who has the means and you want to collect if you want that tote bag, if you want those 4 art prints, and you want that T-shirt special, now you've got 3 black vinyl copies of the remix Let It Be. I mean, I guess if you don't mind having multiple copies of the same thing just to get the 3 specialty items, but I can't do something like that, even if I really loved all 3 of those specialty products.
But I do think this could be, out of the more recent remixes or remasters, this is the most so far of what Let It Be. Almost like the Beatles are following suit with what's been going on with Paul and George. I think that almost seems like that now.
I'm not a big collector of. I mean, I love other music, obviously, and get vinyl and CDs. But are you guys familiar? Do other artists, musical artists, do a lot of this similar stuff with multiple formats, multiple?
Yeah, so people were naming some of them in the comments. Although I can't last night in the live stream that we were doing,
Yeah,
but
there
you
are
can't
others.
remember who they were.
They're starting to, but I think the Beatles kind of started it.
I know, like the Stones have specialty albums now. They're putting out live of some of their different tours over the decade.
Yeah, but
I
they
don't
have.
I don't know if anybody do a special colored vinyl this and with a T-shirt and that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, again, that's stores. Like you go to a Barnes and Noble, and they've got the special editions of lots and lots of albums.
Oh, okay,
Just
okay.
they have.
Right.
But it's just it's a color variant. In other places, Target has color variants, Walmart has color variants. But it doesn't generally go as nuts as the Beatles. And people don't collect them all. They might want, I can get this at Target, but I can get it at Walmart on green vinyl. Maybe I'll get the Walmart one.
Right.
People
Exactly.
And let's
generally
face it,
don't
look,
buy them all.
it's fun. I've had a ball back in the Christmas time, December. I had a ball. But at the same time, it could be a headache. You got to look at it the right perspective. Oh my God, I got to get over to Newberry Comics. I want to get the pink, whatever
Before it's
color
gone.
it was, McCartney 3. But then Barnes and Noble, you got the. You don't have the blue Barnes and Noble. Okay, I call it the store. You got Target's got the green. I'll be right over. And in a way, it's like I can't believe I'm doing this. And all the time I'm doing it, I got the CD playing in the car of McCartney 3, and I'm getting acquainted with the new one. I'm liking it, and it's like, wow, this is like Beatlemania in a smaller scale, and
Right.
I'm having fun with it. And you get the naysayers, oh, you losers, you go around buying it. What are you doing yourself? What are you? What are you doing? Smoking yourself to death?
Call me a loser. I admit it. I've been caught up in the frenzy before. I'm the first to admit it. I know in my recent video, I said I'm not doing it this time, and I'm not because of financial reasons. But I'm the first to admit I've been caught up in frenzies, and I love it. I'm not sad about it. It was fun. Had a great time.
If it weren't for the world situation right now, I would definitely be 100% getting the vinyl Let It Be box, even though I think it's way too expensive. I would be getting it anyway.
And they're all on the same label, right? Mr. Beatles Pro. Talk about a guy, in my opinion, with a great collection.
Oh, he has a wonderful collection.
I mean, this guy has got amazing. Look at his channel, Mr. Beatles Pro. If you haven't already joined, go over, subscribe to him.
Yeah, great channel.
Yes, they're all on the same label now. For the first time,
UMG
since what 70?
It's been that long. Wow, really that long?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with Elvis, I mean, I'm an Elvis fan, but I don't collect everything. Now, there's something I really would. I'll get into that a little. I really wish I could have started buying in the beginning. All of those, what are they called? FTD releases.
Oh
on
yeah,
vinyl.
those are nice. Yeah,
but those things are like, I think they're $50, and then you got to send to England for them shipping.
Yeah, some of them are like double or triple disc CD sets or album sets, and they can be very pricey. But they are great. I have a few of them. I'm not going to be a completist, but I cherry picked the ones I really like, and they're fantastic.
Yeah, because Elvis, you talk about regurgitating stuff. I mean, a lot of this stuff I understand is first time. This Nashville set that came out. Everybody is really thrilled with the Nashville set that came out of Elvis recently. All right.
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be another one coming now.
Yeah, I think it's coming soon.
But this is like now they made it really the first time. It's really clean or.
Yeah, they're stripping away all the background, harmony singers and female voices and orchestration. They stripped it right down.
That's even more extreme than All Things Must Pass.
Yeah, it's Elvis in the studio with just the musicians, and it's the good stuff. I have to say, it's if you've always thought Elvis's music was over the top, bombastic, and too overly produced, then this stuff is for you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I see. I don't know everything about. I mean, I know more about the Beatles than I do Elvis.
Yeah.
But this thing about the Philharmonic or whatever, they take his music, put the orchestra on it. Now Nashville take off the singer, the background singers, just keep putting the stuff out in different ways. That seems to me in a way to be even more milking something.
Well, they can drag it out for years because they've just started doing that with him, and has so many soundtrack albums they could do that too, and regular music over the years that they could fudge around with and add orchestration to it. And that could be another whole show too, is how do we feel about remixing and changing music around and adding things and taking things away? Is that good? Is that bad? Is it, there's pros and cons to it.
That's what there's ones that I personally like better and some I don't. And Kiss has been outrageous with merchandise.
I would agree with Renee there that the Kiss stuff is crazy. Yeah, that's so. But I don't know if they marketed Kiss breath in a bottle yet. Maybe.
Yeah, this is my right here is my big beef with this whole thing. You can get this Elvis 4 CD box set coming out for like $35.
Right.
I walked into FYE the other day, and there's a new. I know you hate them, Joe, but there's a new Oasis 3 CD set and a nice cardboard cover of their biggest album. It's 2 CDs of outtakes and things like singles and stuff, and list for $25. FYE had it for $19.
But you see,
why is George Harrison 5 CD set?
Oh, don't get me going on that.
Yeah. I joke around though a lot. I always say to people, look, they can't give them away. Everybody would like to spend $1 on. I mean, not literally $1, but if we could,
I'm not saying give it away, but
it sounds cheap. $35.
I gotta go with Tim on that George Harrison 5. I was the sucker who bought that set for $140 something or whatever I paid for it. 5 CDs with the Blu-ray and that little teeny box. And like you said, the from Elvis in Nashville, where you got 4 disc, a book that's just the same quality book as in my George Harrison CD box, and I paid $45 or $50 for Elvis in Nashville.
Yeah. No, what I want to make clear, my opinion about it is that I agree. The George Harrison box that you talked about too, you're talking about now,
that one specific product,
it is way overpriced. That was like $150 or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. You could get it as low as like $139 if you were.
Yeah, that was insane. I agree, and even though I bought the Uber box because I wanted that one, it's $1,000. I got it for cheaper, but still, it was too much. The Harrisons always seem to be the most expensive. The George Harrison family group seem to be the most expensive. But what I'm saying is, I guess in a roundabout way is, I'd like to pay something like $35 for a 40 CD set. I would have loved to pay $24.99 for that 5 CD if I could get it. That sounds great. Yeah. But I think there's trying to be fair. Even as much as I like it to be cheap, there's sometimes that it's underpriced. I think it being a playing devil's advocate, and sometimes it's way overpriced. Why do I think something like this Elvis CD probably makes more sense? Probably 50-ish, but I don't know, about 35 is a good deal. Hey, give me it. Give me. I'll take that. But
that's a good price for those sets, and you're getting a nice little booklet inside, and it's decent.
But again, an argument could be made that if they were pricing some of this stuff more reasonably, they might sell a lot more, and then in the end make just as much, if not more money.
I've always subscribed to the make it up in volume mentality with almost anything. You sell more. But then again, do we know that? We don't know about the Uber box yet. Are they going to be? They're probably going to be left with some of those, a lot of those. But as far as, do we know that the Harrisons, for example, Harrison Estate is losing money or not selling as much as they could? Oh, it must be doing well if they keep.
I'd love to know the numbers on the Uber box, not just the Uber box, the 8 LP box. How did that 5 CD one that I got go? I'd really love to know where these things, like McCartney 3, his album went #1, so I have to assume he sold quite a few hard copies of it.
Well, wait a minute with this one, but aren't they all 4 Beatles have, right? Don't they have the same?
Don't they have to have a say?
Yeah,
they have to have some say.
No, I'm saying I thought the Harrison Estate seems to be more usually the way they're priced, but if they're all owned by the same company, John, Paul, George, Ringo, Beatles, how come the other ones aren't as expensive as the Harrison ones?
Yeah, I would think the actual.
Well, they were. You just got less from. I mean, they're all the POB one was about the same as the Harrison box, price wise. You just got a better book and better packaging job, but it was
Yeah.
about the same.
Well,
I
that's
think
what I mean, though. There is a
You
difference.
just nailed it. The quality of that plastic band box was head and shoulders above the Harrison.
Yeah.
Yeah,
5
but
CD.
but again, that there's a difference from, say, however you word it, Beatle to Beatle. There's a difference. It's not like it's all the same company, therefore they all resemble, say, the Lennon model. They're all the same.
Right.
They have certain.
So why would Universal Music decide to make the Harrison 5 CD box so
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
what I'm
chintzy
saying.
for the price, and the plastic? Oh, this one's going to have a hardcover book, John
Yeah,
Lennon.
that's
But
what I don't
I would
get.
think the estates or the Beatles themselves have to approve or disapprove in the end.
That I don't know, but basically, and I've said this many times, you're basically paying $100 for 2 extra CDs on that Harrison.
Oh,
That's all you really got for your extra
keep
100
rubbing
bucks.
salt in my wounds, Tim.
I'm sorry, but
That little
No,
pamphlet.
but I mean, I expected, because I bought the 3 CD set. I expected the third disc to be a combination of the last 3 discs. That's usually what they do. But no, it was disc 5. So I'm like, okay, so for $25 you got disc 1, 2, and 5, and for $130 you got disc 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That makes no sense.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
it's a great point.
Well, this.
But when everybody pre-ordered it, you didn't know that. Nobody knew that.
No, I made a bad choice there. I wish
Well, I
now
don't know. I don't know if Jeff Allen is this comment by Jeff Allen reminds me of something that I hear. I don't know if this. I'm not saying, Jeff, that you're saying this necessarily,
right.
but a lot of people say, these people that keep buying these things, that's why they keep raising them. Now, it affects all of us because you people keep buying them. That's going to keep the prices too high. And that one I could say, not to you, Jeff, if that's not what you mean, but to the people who feel that way, suck eggs. I don't know what to tell you.
I want to buy this stuff. I want
not
the
gonna
new.
pass up
I want to
because
get I want to get a new Let It Be set. I'd like to get the remix on vinyl with the 4 prints. I want them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, for me, it's
supposed to
price.
boycott it.
The 4 LP White Album box on vinyl. I think the official retail was $119 on that.
Yeah.
Now they've added an EP, and that's really a nice-ish book, and an EP for Let It Be, and it's $200.
Yeah, well, if you wait long enough, you could get that cheaper, but it's still that's a whole other thing. That EP,
prices
to Let It
just
Be.
in the last year have just skyrocketed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's I think it's up to, like we said back in the beginning, it's up to each individual's personal station in life. And if it makes you happy and you have the means to do it, why am I supposed to boycott this stuff just to make a point? So don't buy any of the Let It Be releases coming out, because I want to stick it to the Beatles estates, and
that'll show them.
That'll show them. Matt didn't buy anything, so so what? It's not affecting them. But I don't know. I enjoy it. I want to collect what I can financial wise, and that's what I'll continue to do. And I think everybody should be allowed to do that as well. Then,
Here's a good the White Album 4 LP is only $50 at Walmart.
Yeah, it is. Anybody that doesn't have that and is a vinyl collector should get that.
Does either one of you fellas remember what the full price of that 4 LP White Album was?
Is that the one you?
I just said. I think it was retailed at $119. I think.
Oh, okay.
I remember seeing it for. I think I got it for $99.
Yeah, most people were selling it for $99, but I think the official list price was $119.
Get it for half price now. Imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you see that part,
but that's the other thing is, so we're supposed to wait. Oh, well, geez, I want this Let It Be, 5 LP set. I'm going to wait though, because it's going to come down and only be $60 in 6 months. But what if I can't get it in 6 months and the price goes? I don't know. I mean, what do you do?
Yeah.
How long do you wait? And then you lose out, but maybe you won't lose out.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, what we were saying earlier, like for me, like I said, admittedly, I have a channel. I also have like a desire and a need to have content. And when something new comes up, a lot of people who watch my channel, and I guess for you guys too, in some cases, right? They want to see what do you think of it? Let's see it. So if there was no such thing as YouTube, I'd wait. Maybe I'd wait like a couple of months or whatever it is. Or then maybe not, because I'd still be hot for hearing it right away to
Right,
hear
right.
it.
Yeah.
But or whatever, all of it. But you know what I'm saying. I have more of a reason that I want to get it earlier.
Yeah, I can't see like wait. I want this stuff. I'm a Beatles fan. I'm a Beatles fanatic since I was a little kid. I'm going to wait 6 months and hope I can get this Let It Be remix later and save some money, or you end up spending the money. And then, like you said, I have the White Album LP set. I forget what I paid for it now. Like you said, around 119, whatever it was. But now 50. I should have waited, but here we are 3 years later. When are we going to wait 3 years to get it? I don't know. I just can't see doing that.
Yeah, it's true. It's 3 year wait. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
same thing with Paul McCartney's archive collection.
Oh yeah, those can be Gonzo.
Those
or
are
you
up there,
pay-
and there's only one. I have every one of those now because it took me. I didn't get them right away. Some of those took me years to get those. Actually, here I am talking about getting things right away. Some of those I didn't actually for the even for the show on the channel. I didn't get it right away. But the only one I don't have is the Red Rose Speedway one, and I'm trying to hope that
yeah.
drops somewhat.
Yeah, but you don't want to lose out on it either. If it becomes hard to find and then the price goes through the roof.
They go out of print.
Yeah. So.
I think there's this too. The All Things Must Pass. They only have one album to milk. Don't see a lot of demand for extra texture box set.
Yeah.
Things like that.
That's a good point. You wonder what's going to happen with like George or Ringo's estate too. Or Ringo's estate. That's terrible. That bad choice of words. Yeah. With Ringo and George's estate, what's going to happen with like how are they going? Are they going to be able to keep up with this, or was that the big bang with George and now maybe a Cloud 9 Super Deluxe at some point? I mean,
well, I hope they're of the mentality to give everything a kind of like deluxe thing, but you don't have to make all of them so many. Like I said, All Things Must Pass is a classic album. It's a classic album by anybody,
right?
And certainly in the solo Beatle canon, a lot of people think it's the best of all solo Beatle albums. A lot of people think that, so I could see them milking that. But yeah, I don't think they would milk everything necessarily.
Or maybe like with an extra texture, they would do just maybe like a book type release where you open it up and there's like Paul did with his early archives, a book, and you read about extra texture, and then in the back maybe there's 2 or 3 CDs, something like that, and with a couple of extra alternate takes or something, make it $50 or something for $60.
Yeah, let's see what they're going to do.
Interesting. With those lesser albums or some of like Ringo's albums, Sentimental Journey, Super Uber Deluxe set.
Well, with Ringo, I keep saying, he's proud of the first. He considers it the first album, the Ringo 1973 album. He's proud of that album, and rightly so.
But I could see that one being a big.
I hope so. That has to get a 50th in 2000. I can't think of the years anymore. I'm like 23.
Yeah.
73.
Yeah. I see somebody on the side says, "No, I'm good with extra texture. Thanks."
Yeah, I'm good.
Farrell McNulty.
Yeah. Somebody else said a 10 CD box set of Gone Tropo.
Yeah, right.
With special umbrella things for your drinks and stuff, and
yeah, that's what I need.
Hawaiian shirt included with the Walmart edition.
Yeah, get the Hawaiian shirt. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No. But I still have fun. I'd rather there be stuff rather than nothing. But then again, I don't. This is the first time I remember this many in such a short stretch of time.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like
I said, I counted 9 in a year.
Yeah, and Joe, I'd rather have something instead of nothing. So give us something, and then we can pick and choose as individuals what we want and don't want. I don't. These people who are naysayers and get negative or try to insult us for buying things, I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong. That you should just do what you want to do for you individually, but let others have their joy and happiness if they can do it and they want to do it.
Like this here, I don't think this is ever going to happen, Martin.
Well, I guess I would buy it depending on the format. If it's a Uber wooden box with textured like the cover of Extra Texture for $1,000, no, I won't be getting it. But if it's a little booklet type thing with 2 or 3 CDs in it, or I might get something like that for $50.
I'd like to see him do some of that kind of stuff. A 2 or 3 CD set,
Yeah.
not ridiculously priced.
Yep.
I
Good
think
point.
they could do well with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
I thought Paul's early archive. Don't get me wrong. I love the Flaming Pie one. I love all these massive Rams with all the goodies, and let's look at the Book of Sheep, and all that stuff. But I do like
Yeah.
his early ones a little better for the convenience of those yearbook looking things.
Yeah, well,
I miss that in a way. I miss those.
I
simple ones.
kind of like them better now. I like them the original, but my beef was originally that they weren't uniform. That they
Right.
started doing them those yearbook type style,
Right.
and then they start to get
And it
bulkier.
changed. Yeah.
Instead of being anal, wanting them all the same.
Mhm.
But yeah, so there's something that's changed too. Those were more. I don't know about. Weren't there better prices originally for those? At least for the
They weren't that.
smaller sets.
They weren't that expensive, were they? In the old day, with the early Band on the Run one and McCartney 2, and
I think you got a better value when you bought the small edition, anyway. If
oh,
I'm not
really? Okay.
mistaken.
Yeah, I
But
can't
this thing
remember
that
the prices.
Woodland Goblin here says, this is like just general thinking in the marketing that people say. It all depends on how well this All Things Must Pass set sold. Not necessarily
Yeah,
because they may sell well because they're All Things Must Pass. That doesn't guarantee that everybody's going to go crazy buying Living in the Material World, which I like.
right.
Yeah, but if you're listening,
I
Ted
don't.
Michaels, I like Living in the Material World. But
No, I think that's a good point. I mean, just if the All Things Must Pass with Uber and crates and all that stuff did well, that's great. But they're probably going to temper it a little bit when they get to Living in the Material World.
yeah, people have the one size fits all mentality, and it goes the reverse too. I've seen it happen with movies, certain movies, and collecting films and on disc.
And the other thing,
They put something. They put something poor out, relatively lesser out. Like let's say sometime in New York City next year. There's Sean Lennon said on his Twitter. Somebody asked Sean, when are we going to see sometime in New York City? And he just wrote back 2022. We just wrote that.
No,
So if he is, a lot of people don't like that album. So there may be people who will not buy that album. And then, of course, then there's no market for this. Forget it. No more John albums. That's not necessarily true. Sorry, Tim.
No, that's fine. Another thing that could happen, it hasn't happened much, but it has happened a little, are like other anniversaries. Like, there was a 25th anniversary Band on the Run. And I think there was a 30th anniversary of Band on the Run. If you keep doing it, every 5 years there's an anniversary, that gets annoying.
Yeah, well, I know we're all getting up there in age, but you wonder in 10, 15 years or so what's going to happen once they've exhausted this release of these special Beatle ones. We're up to Let It Be now. We're hoping they're going to go back to Please Please Me with.
I'm glad you mentioned the age thing,
right.
I almost forgot another point I want to bring up.
Yeah. I know what you're going to mention.
Yeah, before we're done. But
I'm saying once they get through all the Beatle ones back up to Revolver, since they started with Sgt. Pepper, what happens after that? Are they going to okay, now it's the Sgt. Pepper 65th anniversary, super duper set. I mean, what are they going to do years down the road?
That's the way the world is.
We'll all be old men by then in wheelchairs, but maybe we'll still be buying and collecting.
For all those who hate Yoko, they should be appreciative of the fact that she's preserved all these Lennon demos and outtakes all these years later. I think I'm fair in saying that she's always been good with that. She's always been good at taking care of the fans, letting them get stuff. Whatever you feel about Yoko, arguably and not so arguably, you could say that the Lennon camp has done the best job.
Well, I would say they're the most, in Yoko too, I'll give her credit, the most generous as far as making sure product is out there, and if we want it, we can buy it. If we don't, we don't.
Giving you a lot. The Lennon stuff has given you much more material than McCartney's the skimpiest as far as, he'll give you a bonus CD with 6 songs on it.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Well, one thing that, we were talking about old age, kidding around about our old age when we get old and everything. This is something I wanted to bring up, and Matt, it's not anything to do with you because I was talking.
Oh no, and I'm going to respond to it. I think I know exactly what you're going to say, and I'll respond to it.
Matt made a point, and I've heard this many times. It just made me think of something that I've always wanted to bring out if I hadn't said it, and that's a lot of people feel. And I know people in their comments have said that. Look, they say when I get old, I don't want to amass a big collection like this or bigger, because when I die, they would say, that's not fair. I don't want to leave my loved ones to have to deal with it after I'm gone. Some people feel that way. Now, again, I'm not saying Matt will tell his feelings, but I just always feel like it may sound incredibly self-absorbed or whatever, but the thing is, if I live to be, say, 90, let's go crazy. You live to be 90, say, by the way, we just lost Ed Asner, the actor, at age of 91.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he looked kind of like, needy his whole life, so hell knows. But anyway, my point is, if I live to be 90, I don't understand. Like, if I was to say, well, I'm not going to amass a lot of stuff because I rather enjoy my time here in the sense of collecting and having a good time and owning all this stuff. I don't want to give up 70, 80, 90 years of that enjoyment just because for a day or two or a week, maybe my friends and family have to like get rid of this stuff or send somebody to take it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, but
yeah. No, I totally understand what you're saying. And when I did that video, the main purpose of that video, my Let It Be video, was that it was the financial thing. That's the financial thing is the main reason why I'm feeling as I'm, getting at this stage in my life that I can't spend that kind of, I have to at some point limit my budget a little bit on spending on different formats and editions. However, at one point in the video, I said, and I'm 60 years old and hey, what am I going to do with that Beatles tote bag anyway? My family's going to end up, throwing it to Goodwill or something. So I totally get your point. And you mentioned something that I don't think you just mentioned now, but you said something very astute, Joe, a while back about losing your inner child.
Oh yeah,
you didn't mention, but that was a good point because no, we shouldn't lose our inner child. As you get older, if you have that hobby or a thing that you love so much makes you happy and makes you feel like that kid again, I say more power to you. We shouldn't lose the inner child. And my wife will be the first to tell you I haven't lost my inner child. That I'm still an old man, but a big kid. And I agree with you. And when I made that comment, like, "Hey, I'm getting older," I think because like I've seen in the past people who have passed away, and I've seen what happens to their estate, how it gets decimated and people come in and it just, this one's this and this goes to Goodwill and they were here yesterday and their life was right around them. And then when they pass away, it's like just goes to the winds. It distributes and it goes. And so I kind of made that melancholy statement, like, what am I going to do? I pass away and my family's going to be stuck with all this stuff.
With a tote bag. I think
with a tote bag and
get rid of a tote bag
and some Beatles toilet paper, they'll be stuck with this.
No, that's not real, folks. That's not real product.
That's not real, folks. There's no Beatles toilet paper.
Yeah, I'll save
but anyway, but I agree. But I got to say, I'll agree with you on that point is that, yes, I mean, you shouldn't give up on your joy in life or your joys in life because you're getting older. No, if anything, you should find things that bring you satisfaction and happiness and things you can enjoy with your friends and your family. I think that's important.
Yeah, not talk. I mean, like I said, money and financial means is always one thing, but I mean, I know people again. Sometimes I'll watch a video, like your video just made me think of that in general, like not you personally, but in general, because that's made me think of a theme that goes around. I hear people a lot saying things like, "Well, I finally decided to sell my collection, whatever it is. Why? Well, I was just getting up there, and I thought, and I think that's sad when a person, if the case is that they just, it happens to all of us to some degree, just loses, but just for some reason, I'm not getting anything out of it. It happens.
Yeah, that's normal. That's absolutely
normal. But I say, gee, I hope that. There. I'm sorry, Tim.
I'm partially there. I mean, for me, it's become the last couple of years more about the music than about the actual items. If I have one copy of something, I'm good with that most of the time. I don't need them all anymore.
Yeah, no,
a place I've gotten to.
I totally agree. But I'll be freely admit and honest that I do go through. I don't have any to show. Sorry, nothing here.
Come on, Tim. Where is it?
Beatles show, Joe.
I'm doing this to make a point here. Come on, you got it handy.
I can show my Beatles change purse. Is that okay?
No, because we have this little. Yeah, we have this joke that we do whenever we do a live stream just to talk and BS. One of us will pull up a Partridge Family album, and somebody else has to get one.
I obviously started this.
Yeah, Tim started that. But the thing is,
I do have one, but it's downstairs.
that was my way of saying, well, you can't, kidding around, saying you can't show a Partridge Family album. Then if you
But no, I honestly, I just, to be totally with you guys, is that, yeah, I admit it. I go through phases where I'm down in my music room listening to something, looking around the room, and I go, I should call this collection.
It happens to me too.
I got to get rid of some of this stuff. Let me start going through it and pulling out the ones I really don't listen to, and I'm going to go down the record store and I'm going to get rid of them. And then I never do it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it happens to all of us. It happens to me too once in a while. It comes in spurts. Sometimes you're like, you sit there, you're like, well, wow, I'm never going to listen to these anymore. Or I have books back there that I may not, on this side here, that I may not read again back there. And then I just get joy knowing I have them. Sometimes I go different ways, just knowing they're there.
Or that moment will happen where something sparks you, and someone will mention an artist or a Beatles album you haven't listened to in a million years, or you'll see it talked about on TV, and you go, "Oh, I haven't listened to that in 10 years. I'm going to go grab it." And even though you haven't listened to it in a long time, it's there for you. You pull it out, and there you go.
Exactly.
Because I used to joke around. You have like a big. I used to say, "What are you going to do one day?" You have this big house. You're like, "Hey, I've liberated myself from everything. I'm no longer a prisoner to any of this stuff. I'm free. I got rid of it." What do? You have an empty home. All the rooms are empty. Nothing to be had. But in the corner, you have a little phone sitting against the wall. That's it. You gotta have stuff. Who said that?
Yeah.
George Carlin.
Yeah.
Your house is a place to keep your stuff.
A place for your stuff.
These things aren't fun, You can listen to them all day long, but they're not fun.
It's like Spotify. Like, I got Spotify. I can just listen to it on Spotify, and that's good for sampling and bringing things with you for Bluetooth and whatnot. But there's nothing like having that physical copy and being a collector and the joy of it.
And, while I've been culling my collection and doing all this stuff, this Let It Be box comes out, and I'll be honest, I mainly want the Let It Be vinyl box for the Get Back album. I mean, want, and I'm not the only one.
No, I know.
I physically just like
it's finally being released officially, but in that set.
Like this. What David's asking here is a good question. It's part of the discussion. I've gotten to the point where, like, when it comes to where will your collection go? Well, first of all, I have no children. I have 2 nephews and a niece. Out of them, I have one of my nephews is into music and vinyl right now, but I always say, like, he started out Beatles and then he branched out to a lot of stuff. So I don't think of him as like the Beatles guy, that would love all this. We want all this stuff.
Right, exactly.
So if I survive, say my girlfriend or whatnot, or she survives me, I should say. I'm sorry. The idea would be that, well, she would, I guess, get to try to sell it off.
She would distribute it or whatever.
I guess. Bottom line for me is that it would wind up, as long as it winds up and eventually hang, like, the poster hangs up, Ringo poster or whatever. These things wind up with people who will appreciate them.
Will appreciate it and cherish it like you have. Yeah,
that's fine with me. I just don't want them. I don't want them trashed. But I'll be dead. I wouldn't know anyway. So
right.
But I don't care as much. Is my point. You guys have thought?
I think my wife's getting ready to get rid of me because she's telling me to make a list and write down what everything's worth. Hey, what is that? Right? Can you make a? No, I'm just joking about it. She's not like that at all. But I do say to her sometimes, geez, I got to make a list, because if something ever happened to me and they're going through my albums, they won't know that there's a different in just a regular Let It Be vinyl that I have and like some rare, import or something that's worth, a lot of money. They would never know that unless I put a sticker on it saying this. It's this pressing. It's an original. It's worth this. It's in mint condition. That's $100 album. Well, this one here, it's only a $5 album. They're not going to know the difference.
Right.
So in that sense, I've thought about maybe cataloging or marking my items, so if something happens to me, they'll know what it is.
Yeah, that's a job for the survivors to do. Crack the knuckles, get on the computer, or whatever's around then.
That's true. They could do the research themselves nowadays.
Yeah, but I mean, but wherever you can write it down or catalog it, sure.
Yeah.
Because I thought of that too.
Well, especially like a collectible, like your foam 1976, the Beatles Are Back thing you've got hanging up, Joe. That's a real rare collectible, right?
Yeah,
That one,
Oh,
the 10-year anniversary or whatever.
Over the records. I have it over.
Yeah,
the
something like
records.
that. You might want to put a little sticky in the back of it saying, "Hey, this is not."
Yeah,
it's a piece of styrofoam, but you don't want to just throw it in the recycle
Hey, that may
bin.
come. I never say never. There could be a day sometime where I'm like, folks, I can't believe I'm selling all my stuff. Anything can happen.
Yeah. I see Robert S. wrote down below, and Mr. Beatles Pro said he did that with his collection. Robert S. says, yeah, but that sounds like a lot of work, and he's exactly right. I mean, I've started, putting my records in plastic sleeves with new inserts. It takes a lot of time, effort, and money to do that.
Yeah.
Well, even people tell me I should catalog my albums on Discogs because I'm having the problem where I don't always know what I have.
A lot of people have done that. Yeah, a lot of people have done that.
That'll take forever too. But
that's why I haven't done it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I don't.
I mean, we all barely have time to do what we want to do now. We're going to start doing that.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. I'm aware of the time thing. That's the only thing that gets me. I keep saying I'd rather be my age in today's world rather than younger in today's world. If I'm going to be older, I'd rather be older today, rather than 40 years,
30 years from now. Yeah,
something like that. But it is that horrible feeling that in the back of your mind that you've lived more years past than you're gonna. That's always a sobering reality.
Don't I know it?
And
I think I'm the oldest of the bunch here.
Oh, maybe by a little bit. Well, that's all I could think of. You guys have any other? I got.
No. I thought this was a great discussion. I really enjoyed doing something freelance like this. This was fun.
Yeah. I got to quote this. Wait a minute. Hey, all I could say, folks,
young is good. I have nothing against young. I got kids and grandkids that are young, but I'm glad I came up when I came up. There you go. It did. I agree, 100%.
We're at another time.
And that's a great hat. I want to ask you exactly where you got it, but was that something you were able to get physically off the shelf, or did you order it?
No, I got it at Newberry Comics.
Oh, okay.
I found it there. It was a shirt that said that too, but they only had like a small, so that wasn't going to work out.
No, small wouldn't work for me either. Small might cover my head. I could cut 2 holes in it like a visible ray or something.
Yeah, and I am going to get that shirt, Woodland. There is one like that. I get that shirt. But anyway, so this has been a lot of fun. We got a lot of of points covered, and thanks Tim also for being here. So once again,
I just want to say thanks to Tim too. Tim, it's been an awesome pleasure meeting you and being able to spend time with you.
And subscribe to his channel. Tim Allen has a YouTube channel dealing with music, and he also has that podcast, Snap, Crackle, and Pop Vinyl Hour.
Yes, on Podomatic.com and iTunes.
And anything coming up with you guys, Matthew? Anything?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, Stephen Schnee and I on the Matt and Steve show interviewed the Weaklings. They've got a new live album coming out in mid-September, but the video itself won't be posted till like a week before the album comes out. So maybe in a week or two, you look for that, folks. A nice interview with 2 of the members of the Weaklings. That was a lot of fun. It'll be posted at my channel, Matthew Street, and at the Stephen Schnee channel.
Alrighty, and you could go over, please, and subscribe on YouTube here to Talk More Talk, which is a solo Beatles video cast that I do with Kid O'Toole, Ken Michaels, and Tom Hunyadi. Our next show it's going to not be for a week. It's not going to be tomorrow, but this Monday. It's going to be the Monday after. I don't know the day. I think it might be. Is it Labor Day? I don't even know if it's Labor Day.
It is. Yeah, it's Labor Day next Monday.
Yeah, and we're going to be supposed to be talking about the Stop and Smell the Roses album, Ringo's album. For those of you, it's going to it's its 40th anniversary.
Wow,
believe it or not. So
that album has come on. That album has come on for me in the last 20 years. I never liked it when it first came out, but it's grown.
Yeah, and we'll be discussing that kind of thing. And that's it, folks. So I guess it's time to get out of here. So as far as the next time we do FaB GaB, we kind of just
It's hit
make
or
that up
miss.
as we go. We don't know. We don't know when. We try to do it Sundays. The story, and we'll let you all know when we get to the
We'll
next
be
show.
back with another great topic or ranking. You never know.
Yeah, we do have rankings to do. I know we want to do the Ram album because it's the anniversary. It's late, but it's still
maybe
50th.
Maybe Imagine at some point.
And it may be Imagine because they're big albums from 71.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, everybody, thanks a lot. You guys for being here.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks for watching,
everybody.
everyone. Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.